This is First Step.
Hey, welcome to the First Step podcast. My name is Kevin. As always, I got my friends with me. I got Stupid Stu down here. He's ready to talk football. How you doing, Stu? How's everything?
Doing good, gentlemen. The Canes are so back. Ward Manuel doesn't have a clue. We're so back.
The you, baby. We're all back. We're so back. Also with me, I got the man, the myth. Not to be confused with that little hair thing that your wife or your girlfriend puts up in the shower. Don't confuse him for that. This is Javi. Javi, how you doing?
Wait, the hair? What the fuck is that hair?
Oh, your wife doesn't do that? Oh,
no.
God bless.
No.
She's so much better than you deserve.
But what's up, guys? I'm
Good,
fired
buddy.
up. I'm ready to roll. I got my Cats hat on. We lost today.
Ice Cats happens, dude. It happens.
Have I rocked the new one for this year?
You haven't. This is the first time I've seen it. Very clean.
The new hat.
Very clean. Let me see. Does it have the championship gold on the side?
No, I got it with it's the gold. You can see it on this side. It doesn't have I didn't get the Stanley Cup. I didn't want the Stanley Cup logo. I just wanted all the gold embroidery.
Respect.
I'll
Like,
be there on Saturday
That
night.
and the NHL's
I'll be there
gold.
Saturday night.
I love it. I think it's
You're
beautiful.
going?
Yeah, Pride night. We got the Ducks. Okay, get back. Got to get back to winning.
Quack.
We will
quack.
be playing LA on Pride Night. That's not a that's not a
It's not a
coincidence.
coinky-dink.
Kevin. No, it's
Oh,
not.
boy.
No, it's not. But
Listen,
I'm fired up, man. Hey, this is a big sports time. We have national championship. We got the best NFL week, in my opinion, in the entire season.
Absolutely.
I think these are the 4 best games you get all year.
Absolutely.
And golf is back.
Oh,
We got
Yeah,
a lot going on.
we got a lot.
And obviously, we were just talking about it, the Cats, but they lost tonight, so I don't really want to talk
Hockey's
about
coming in
it.
hot. We're about almost midway through with the hockey season. We're gonna start getting to hockey talk now or later on this month. Also, we've got college basketball is just ramping up, getting ready for March Madness. You could tell these teams are vying for that spot in the big dance, and it's a lot of fun, man. We got a lot of fun stuff coming up. Speaking of, make sure you guys like, follow, subscribe, do everything you want to do. We're doing some changes. We have stuff on the blog. We have big posts. We have new guests coming up soon, and we're excited. We have a lot of fun stuff. Make sure you guys follow, like, subscribe. Before we get into the big game, before we get into the Natty guys, we got to talk about some big news. We have, as Miami fans, we hinted a little bit. As a pod, I don't know how I feel about this because we trashed this guy for about, I would say,
really
solid
did.
10 weeks. We trashed this guy. But let me tell you something.
Can you actually make edit a clip of all of us, just do a montage and post
some
of
point.
all the shit that everyone has said?
Yes, absolutely. At some point, I'm pretty sure either Stupid Stu or I can't remember now. Chucky Hoops. One of them decided to say that Carson Beck was wearing blackface, and he's not wearing blackface.
That was in Hamio.
But definitely wears too much of the black stuff on his face. But that being said, I'm kind of excited for it. I think this was a great pickup. I think it's better than what we have. Stupid Stu, how you feel about it?
Dude, I am pumped. 7,900 yards, 68% completions, 8.5 yards per completion, 58 touchdowns, 2 national championships, 2 SEC championships, half of an elbow, and a half-naked girl in his bed. We are so back. This team is so back. This is awesome.
That was incredible.
Half a
God,
naked girl in the bed.
Half a naked girl in the
We
bedroom.
have to thank the
What a
Cavender,
moment.
the Cavender twins over there for hooking us up here with a great QB, man. I'm really excited. I think the guy's got the arm. I think he's going to do really well here. I think it was a good move on his end to jump into this program, an already proven offense. He saw what Cam Ward do. I don't think they're the same caliber of QB. I think Cam Ward has him a little bit on the edge there, but this guy's a classic QB, and I'm excited to watch it. Havo, we and you talked about it. Are we going to be UN season ticket holders? Are we going to every game this year? Talk to me.
We're going to be season ticket holders. Are we going to go to every game? Probably not. Let's be honest. Not every game. We got kids, dog. What are you talking about?
Hava, don't take this dream away from me. Don't take the dream away from me.
But I am excited. I think my hot take is I think he can do good throwing to some receivers that can actually catch the ball. Georgia's receivers were trash last year, so I think that's why and I think he took a bad rap for it. They weren't very good. Those receivers dropped a lot of balls all year long. We saw it. So I think this Miami offense is going to still be loaded. He's going to have a similar similar talent pool that Cam Ward had. So, I don't think he's going to be Cam Ward. Don't get me wrong, but I still think he's going to be one of the top QBs in the country. And yeah, I think we're going to be rocking and rolling again next year. Ready for another disappointing end of the season. We'll lose to Georgia Tech again or some bullshit like that, but it'll be great.
That's not
As long as we beat Florida and FSU at the beginning of the year,
life
I'm
is
good. Yeah.
That's not the only big news that Miami has either.
Yep.
We got ourselves a nice little defensive coordinator. Stupid Stu, why don't you tell us a little about Heatherman, man? How do you feel about him? How comfortable do you feel in our defense right now?
Look, everyone's got 4 million reasons to like Carson Beck, and that's great, but I cannot wait to watch this Corey Heatherman guy from Minnesota. These fall press conferences, after he's just ripped an entire colada to the face, this guy's stare will make Mugatu back down from trying to kill the Prime Minister of Malaysia. We basically hired Clark Kent to be at the podium. This guy's he kills you with diabolical eye contact. I cannot wait to watch these interns give this guy a little softball pitch, and he's going to come back with a Mike Tyson haymaker. I cannot wait for these press conferences.
These little Miami reporters don't know what's coming to them.
This guy's from
hurricane.
This guy's from he's coached with some of the big times. He's from a Schiano defensive scheme. He's from Signetti's scheme. He's called plays at Maine, James Madison, and then a short brief, Minnesota. He had a top 5 scoring defense. This is unbelievable. This is a huge hire for Mario. He can just ignore that side of the ball now and go back to doing the Mario things. And man, the Canes are on the up and up.
I'm super excited, man. I think that was a great pickup, even more important than the Carson Beck pickup. I think we're just upgrading positions that we already had pretty strong. We're upgrading them to even better spots. DC, we talked about it all year long. Our defense was all over the place, undisciplined, a lot of missed tackles. Kind of the schemes were a little bit off. It wasn't just the players. It was also the schemes that the defense had. We're a little bit off on the teams that we were playing with. And I don't think that Heatherman was going to make that same mistakes. Yeah, I absolutely agree that Mario Cristobal could close his eyes and focus on game management, on that offense that he does so well with, on recruiting, and not worry about defense. I love the move. I love the pick. I only see bright things for the University of Miami Hurricanes.
And some of the other names being tossed around were really concerning too. There wasn't really a whole lot of smoke to those, but what I thought we might hire was a little concerning, and we got away with a steal. I mean, this guy might have been the top guy for the Penn State job now that Tom Allen just moved on to Clemson, and we got him right before Clemson can. This is a huge hire for Mario. The timing worked out great. Everyone knocked him for timing. Man, this guy has it rolling right now.
Listen, the state of the U is doing well right now. The state of the U is good, and I'm excited to see what happens next year. I'm excited to see the progression. Go
liked
ahead,
it. No, so I like the hire also. I do think I am a little nervous about Carson Beck's elbow. Going back to that a second, that's the one thing about this whole thing that no one's talking about is he does have half an elbow. So I know we'll deal with that. And I think they said that he's not going to be in what is it, spring practice?
No, yeah, he's not in the spring.
No, but he'll be back well before that though. I mean, well before fall camp.
Yeah, still, we'll see.
Happy thoughts. Our prayers are with him. We'll be fine.
Yeah,
we still have.
But I do think landing the right DC was huge for us. I think that's going to make a huge difference. Honestly, anybody's better than the garbage dumpster fire that we had last season. That was my eyes bleed just thinking about it. Christ,
better or worse than having Manny Diaz as your head coach?
Come on, relax. We're 10-2. We went 10-2 with this dog shit. All right, we lost FIU with Manny Diaz. That's unforgivable.
We lost to FIU with Manny.
Unforgivable.
Never forget.
No, it's not never forget. Never forgive.
Never forgive. Havo, before we jump in, real quick to college football, I want to get your take. If you listened to my pod yesterday, I had a pick. I mentioned the pick that you might judge me. American Express, JT, how do you feel about it? Is he going to take it?
Yeah, man. I actually can't hate on him. We have the same pick. I hammered him, and I haven't listened to the pod. I know.
You haven't listened to the pod.
Bad co-host.
What type of co-host do I have here?
I'm a piece of shit. I haven't listened to it yet. But I love the JT pick. I actually just doubled down, put another unit on him right before we came on live.
There we go. That's what I like to hear.
Yeah, man, I'm excited for golf.
I'm excited for golf, man. We were talking about it before the pod. Me and Stu were talking about how you could just smell it in the air. You could smell that grass cutting. You could hear the balls getting teed off on Just almost. It's almost Masters month. Oh, April's coming, dude. April's coming hard, and I like
It's
it.
great. I bought a new club. I bought a 7-wood.
Oh, 7-wood. That's a nice club. You could
Starting the
probably
year
hit that.
strong.
You could probably hit that what?
Got
Like
made.
220, 220?
Yeah, it'll replace my 3-iron.
Oh, so you're gonna hit that
But
thing like 800 yards or something? I don't know, dude.
no, man, that's right. 230,
Nice, dude. I'm excited for you.
30 to
Nothing like a new
35.
club.
I know. I'm excited. Let's see
I'll
how it
probably
goes.
you'll hit it 220. I'll hit it probably like 120 or
I
something like
like
that.
I like that I'm spending money on golf and I'm just not playing any. Like I don't even know when the hell I'm gonna go play with this thing.
Yes, I know.
I don't.
If you're listening to us, thank God you're listening to us because me and Javi look like absolute death over here. I mean, literally, I have lights off behind me. I have to use the background because I'm just in the shit. Like I'm in the shit. Having 2 kids is not a joke, people. This is not a joke. This is exactly what they told us when they warned us. Hey, having 2 kids is way different than having 1 kid. You guys are absolutely right. I respect every family of 1 and up right now more than I ever thought. This is a nightmare situation, but I'm so happy and I'm so thankful and I love my children. But holy moly, let's get into it. Ohio State, Notre Dame, the big game, the Natty, Monday. Oh, I'm excited. I don't know if there's a lot to talk about it, but what my goal is on this one here is to go through it, make sure any fans that's listening has the edge on when they're placing the bets. We're going to go through the entire game, what we think, what's going to happen, our predictions, kind of to set up the path that they took to get here. And I'm just going to go ahead and say right off the get-go, Ohio State's got this one in the bag. I've never been more sure about anything my entire life. I'm hammering the money line, the over, the spread. I think the spread's at sitting at 8 right now. I like it up to 8.5, 9.5. I'll still I'll put all my money on it. I think Ohio State's the way better team here. Early thoughts, Javi. How do you feel about this game?
As a game, I hate it. I hate both of these teams. I can't stand Notre Dame. I hate Ohio State even more. If I had to pick a team, I think Ohio State's the better team. I think Notre Dame's the more fun team to win. They're the better, the better story. Bad loss. Yeah, I know it's disgusting. It's gross.
Ew, dude. You just said they're
I
the
don't really.
better team to win.
No, I like the more fun story. Having Notre Dame as a champion. No one likes Ohio State. That's like the fucking. I don't know. That's like the evil empire winning. No one likes Ohio State except for people from Ohio. Like, those are the only people I know that like Ohio State.
Before I said that this is like a nightmare situation for fans, you know who it's a real nightmare situation for? Michigan fans. They're pissed off. That right now they got to be super pissed off that they're not in this championship.
Not really, because they won. Like they beat Michigan, they beat Ohio State. That's all they care about. That's it. Like
Yeah,
they
they
get
beat Ohio. That's all they did. That's all they did is beat Ohio State.
Like all the Michigan fans are just saying, "Oh, if you win, it's gonna have an asterisk."
That's true. Stu, how do you feel about this game? Early thoughts.
Man, I mean, both teams had tough games just to get here. I mean, both those games were sellouts and they went down to the final minute. And now we're looking at a national championship game where both these teams didn't participate in the conference championships week, and both teams had horrible losses during the season. With the Michigan loss and the Northern Illinois loss. But now this game's kind of exciting. Yeah, I go with the Buckeyes here. I'm leaning with the program that's won between these matchups. They've won the last 6 matchups between them. These historic programs, all the way back to when Marcus Freeman was playing linebacker for the Buckeyes in the 2006 Fiesta Bowl against Notre Dame. I just think Ohio State's got a little too much talent compared to Notre Dame. And really the issue with Notre Dame is the injury factor. If this is a 100% Notre Dame team, I can get behind this, but this is going to be tough. I mean, with Ohio State, it's Ohio State's blown out everyone so far besides that Texas game last week where their defense played phenomenal. Tremendous game on primetime. But, I really felt that game went down to 2 plays. That screen pass at the end of the first half where Travion Henderson just took it 75 yards untouched. And then this defense, these goal line stands. They had the goal line stand. Everyone's going to be talking about that Sark play call. He's going to have nightmares for that. But, this Ohio State defense, they stifled Penn State at the goal line during the regular season. They suffocated this Texas defense to win the game there. They held up Nebraska in that close game when they were on the line. Indiana, they had a goal line stand. Indiana couldn't breathe against them, really barely got to 14 the last minute of the game, and really had 7 points the whole game. Tennessee didn't even play Rocky Top till the second half against the Buckeyes. Oregon still scratching their heads. This defense is just terrifying. They're conservative to open these games up, and then they throw everything in the kitchen sink at you. You see stunts, you see overload blitzes, you see disguise. They disguise stuff so well. They really do.
It's such a great, it's such a well coached team, such a great team that really understands their players, really plays to their best abilities. What I kind of want to do is I want to go through first. I want to go through kind of the big positions here, see who has the edge here. Let's start off quarterback Leonard versus Howard. Riley Leonard is Notre Dame's. I mean, that team lives and dies by Riley Leonard. He's a dual threat. He rushed for 886 yards and 16 touchdowns this season. Also, really good, efficient passer. Ohio State, Will Howard has been on fire. Like he's been an incredible QB through 919 yards, 6 touchdowns with 2 picks, I think, in all these playoff games. I mean, he has great quarterback skills. Leonard's legs add a unique dimension. I'm not going to take that away from him, but Howard's just consistently as a passer here. If you're gonna say this thing is anything but even, I'm gonna lean even, but also I think Howard here has the edge against Notre Dame. I think he's just a more consistent QB than what Riley Leonard. I mean, again, we're talking about a Notre Dame team here that lost to Northern freaking Illinois. I understand it was the first game, and I've been saying that all year. How like I've been fading these guys this entire time, but I cannot trust them against a very good Ohio State team, an Ohio State team that I've been high from that early way too early prediction episode that we did. I had Ohio State as a top contender. Quarterback wise, Stupid Stu, how do you feel about Leonard versus Howard?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, to be quite frank, none of these 4 teams in the playoffs and these semifinals, this quarterback play has been very impressive from any of the 4 of them. Riley Leonard did not impress me at all when I was sitting in the stands at the Orange Bowl, and a lot of people around me, I thought he looked awful. And Will Howard is elevated his game. He's thrown in tight windows in the intermediate, but I mean, his QB power adds a little element too. But he's not really splitting the atom here either with his quarterback play. I actually think the programs are more interesting if you talk about their quarterback rooms. I mean, Notre Dame, that Stu and Javi kind of flipped the game for them last week. When that showed you the character of this team when Marcus Freeman put in the backup. Well, I mean, Riley Leonard got knocked out, but when he came in and they didn't even dumb down the playbook, they kept throwing it more. Abdul Carter strip sacked him on the second play, and they jumped on it and they kept throwing the ball. That kind of got him the field goal to get the momentum flipped. So I think these quarterback rooms are more entertaining than the actual starting quarterbacks. You know, CJ Carr, Stephen Jelly for Notre Dame, great backups, and then Julian Sayin. The Ohio State fans love that guy, but the starters, I'm really underimpressed, with what we're going to be watching Monday night quarterback wise, but I'll give the edge to the Buckeyes.
Yeah, respect. I believe it. Havo, skill positions. Notre Dame has Jeremiah Love, Jadarian Price, Great House, Mitchell Evans. Ohio State has these big guys, Jeremiah Smith, Emeka Egbuka, Trayvon Henderson. Ohio State, I just feel, has that better wide receiver core. We're talking about a wide receiver who could torch any defense that they've seen. How do you feel about skill positions on either team? Who do you think has the edge there? Obviously, Jeremiah Love, that depends on how he's feeling, how he's healthy. But that being said, how do you feel about who has the edge, whether it's Ohio State or Notre Dame in this game?
I mean, I think if Love was fully healthy, it'd be a little closer. But I don't really think it's that close. I think Ohio State is. I think they're just the better team. They have just way more talent on both sides of the ball. But I think that this receiving core, these guys. I mean, this Ohio State team is loaded. I really do. This Notre Dame team, sure, they've been playing well, but they've kind of just been running pure. They're not like the greatest, most explosive offense. Their Leonard hasn't been impressive, like Stu was saying. When he went out and Jelly went in, I mean, he was throwing it around better than Leonard was at the time. I know Leonard was kind of banged up. I think it was a shoulder or something that he had an issue with. So, give him credit. And they're very one-dimensional without him. Leonard gives you something with his legs that, you just can't put, that's invaluable stuff right there that he could do with his legs. So, but I still think that just this talent on this Ohio State team is going to be too much for them to handle. I think it's Ohio State.
Yeah,
not
I agree
even
with
close.
You. Stu, how do you feel about the backs Ohio State has? I don't think they've got enough love this year. Jenkins, Henderson. I mean, I feel like both these guys, NFL-ready running backs. How do you feel about them?
I think this running game's emerged in the last few weeks. It hasn't really been that good all year. You're right. But I mean, those counter runs are killing teams. They do a lot of. Baltimore used to do it back in the day, where they'd have a lot of meat on one side of the offensive line. Left of the center, you'd have five bodies, 6 bodies, and they're either going to hit you with the quarterback power there, or where they're going to have the running back push like he's going that way and counter back. It's the counter runs I was talking about. They actually scored on Texas on that same counter run play, and then they could pull out of it and bootleg. It adds so much to the play action. It's so hard to cover. They've kind of just discovered it. And Ryan Day said he had these running backs on snap counts all season. They wanted to get to this point. I think their running game is much better. I mean, Notre Dame ran 42 times for 116 yards against Penn State. That's like 2.5 yards a carry. That's not going to cut it against Ohio State. And those slow developing run plays, you could forget about it. If they try that stuff to get on the perimeter, they're going to lose you. We saw what they did to Texas on that goal line stuff.
Yeah, I respect it. Offensive line, the guys who are in the trenches protecting their QBs. I feel like this is gonna be a huge part of this game here. Notre Dame's offensive line has been pretty solid, but their injury, man, they're hit all over the place. Antoine Knapp is not playing, so I feel like they're kind of weak here. We talked about how Notre Dame, part of their weakness this week isn't so much the schemes, the players, and anything like that. It's injuries. They're really banged up here. Ohio State, Donovan Jackson, and Josh Fryer have been really, really good offensive linemen, really protecting the QBs in Will Howard, and they've only allowed 14 sacks all season. I think that's a huge part of their game, protecting the QBs, making sure the guys staying safe. In my eyes, I have Ohio State having the edge here in offensive lines. That being said, I think this is a case of being power versus resilience. Notre Dame is also powerful. That is a powerful front seven. Stu, how do you feel about the trenches in this game? Who has the edge here? Who's going to take out who?
I think the problem with Notre Dame is I think you nailed it. The injuries with Knapp out, your left tackle, that's a disaster. That's an absolute disaster, and he's done. I do think Notre Dame actually is depth-wise. I do think they have one of the best offensive lines in the country. They developed that position better than anyone probably in the country. So I don't want to dog Notre Dame for that. But it wasn't even just Knapp. They had another guy go down too. He's 50-50 for the game. But, I mean, and it was even worse when I was in those stands. I mean, the amount of linemen that you saw just getting ready for that game against Penn State because everyone was going down. Meanwhile, Ohio State, you already mentioned it with their two big guys bumping Donovan Jackson outside after they lost their left tackle. He hasn't missed a beat. He's allowed barely any pressures on the year. I think Ohio State has the edge just because of what Notre Dame's going up against on the front seven. Those linebackers for Ohio State can get pressure. Sonny Styles, those guys can blitz you. They overload blitz. And
Jack Sawyer's an absolute beast, dude. They're gonna that guy's gonna be coming for
NFL blitzes. You think they're rushing three, and then before you know it, 7 guys are in your face, and 4 of them are coming off the same side of the line. I think it's gonna be really tough for an O line that hasn't really had that much experience to gel, and that's Notre Dame's biggest issue. Not per se the talent, because they develop players in the O-line better than anyone, as much as the chemistry.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, I think this is a classic case of who's got the tougher matchup. I think that Notre Dame's offensive line's really going to have a tough night. Ohio State's got a really great defensive line, probably one of the best in the country, between Jack Sawyer, JT Thimalu, and Ty Hamilton, right?
Yeah,
I think I'm pretty sure that's his name. Hamilton's a beast, man. I feel like they're gonna beat in all night. We're talking about a not healthy for offensive line from Notre Dame. Then we're talking about the secondaries on both sides. Notre Dame, Ohio State. The Notre Dame secondaries have been really, really good this year, ranking number 1 in opposing QB ratings and completion percentage allowed. Watts, Gray, headline a unit that's locked down top tier offenses all season long. But can they stop Jeremiah Smith? We're talking about this guy's a freak of nature. Havo, talk to me a little about Jeremiah Smith, what you've seen this year. How do you think he's going to play against, honestly, an elite safety and cornerback in Watts and in Gray? Do you think he's going to find a way? Do you think he's going to get it? We're talking about a true freshman, young guy. Jeremiah Smith broke our heart by not signing with the Canes. Talk to me.
Yeah, it hurts to watch him catch a pass every time he catches a touchdown because the guy should be wearing orange and green. But look, I think this is going to be a really tough test for him. I think this is going to be one of the tougher tests he's had all year. Yeah, with this secondary. I mean, Notre Dame's had a great secondary all year. It's one of the strengths on that defense. So it's gonna be interesting to see how the true freshman does. The guy doesn't play like a true freshman, so that's kind of doesn't really matter in my opinion. This guy could play in the NFL next year probably. So I think I think he'll find a way. I'm not expecting him to just take over the game and blow up. And just whatever, 3 touchdowns, 220 yards. I don't think we're going to see something like that. But, I could still see him, he's going to make plays. Like, that's not a guy that you take out, you could just shut down. But I think he's going to definitely have one of his toughest tests of the season. So I think that's going to be one of the great battles in this game. There's going to be some really fun, like individual mini battles there. Like we were just saying, the offensive line, Notre Dame's offensive line versus that Ohio State defensive line. The Ohio State receivers versus that secondary. There's going to be some fun battles, but at the end of the day, I still think this is Notre Dame. This is Ohio State's game. So
Yeah, I agree. We haven't gotten to Ohio State secondary. I mean, we're talking about a secondary that's just as good as, if not even, sometimes plays a little bit better than Notre Dame's. Stu, do you feel like Denzel Burke and Caleb Downs are going to be able to stop Notre Dame's offense, going to be able to control Riley Leonard's legs and make sure he doesn't get too far out? How do you feel about who has the edge here on their defense?
Absolutely, and I edge Ohio State 100%. And I know that's going to upset a few Notre Dame fans. This is the number 1 and number 2 pass yards allowed, lowest yards allowed defenses in the country. Ohio State being number 1 and Notre Dame being number 2. And if Notre Dame had Benjamin, their top corner that went down like 4 weeks ago for the season, you could really make the case Notre Dame's the better secondary here with Clark, with Xavier Watts, with some of these guys. But I mean, it's the whole package with Ohio State. Their defense, they're number 2 in the country in red zone defense. They're number 3 in the nation in sacks, and they're number 1 in passing yards allowed. And that's just, and the real big issue here is the offense they're going up against with all the NFL talent in Ohio State's, whereas Notre Dame's passing offense is 102nd in the country statistically. That's a big problem.
I did not know
and
that
what's
stat.
really,
that is deep. That is low.
Yeah, and what's really interesting in this game, I mean, if Ohio State goes out and wins this game, like they're kind of expected to do, I mean, this team will have beaten all 3 of the Final 4 teams. They would have manhandled the number 1 seed Oregon, and then they've also beaten 2 other top 15, top 12 teams in Tennessee and Indiana. You're going to talk about a team that's going to have beaten 6 of the top 10 teams in the nation. And quite frankly, if you look at the points they're allowing, it's not a lot. It really is impressive. I can't stand Ohio State. But this defense, they're better than Notre Dame's. Lathan Ransom in the run game and strong safety is unbelievable support. Denzel Burke and Igbenogson is where you have to attack them, that corner. Those guys are gettable, but you need Oregon's weapons, and I just don't know if Notre Dame has that. And then Caleb Downs, I mean, what else needs to be said?
And look what happened with Oregon. They didn't do anything even with those weapons. So,
yeah. And Sark learned the hard way why they don't do that in the NFL and toss it out to the left on the goal line, why they do the tush push now. Because if you run on these NFL defenses, guys like Caleb Downs, they sniff it out. I mean, that was one of the best plays I've ever seen. He let the guard go right by him, and he just stuffed that. He blew that play up, and Lathan Ransom came in untouched and just stuffed him for a 9-yard loss. I mean, that's terrifying speed.
Could we just take a quick break to talk about how dirty this all feels that we're giving Ohio State so much love right now? I hate it. I hate it in my soul. Granted,
I mean, we got to talk about the national championship. Like I said, I hate this game.
It just feels dirty. It feels icky.
I don't even know. Like at this point, like I don't know. I might just bet like the over or the under and call it a day. I might
hope for a good game. Just bet for a good game.
Yeah, like I'm not even gonna. Yeah, I might not even watch it. Who knows if the Panthers are playing? I haven't even checked.
Don't say that. You're gonna watch it. This is still good football. These are 2 historic.
Hey, if the Cats are playing,
teams.
I'm watching the Cats over the national championship.
This is still a very good game. I think Ohio State has this, but I think this game's still good. I mean, it's a national title.
What do you guys think the path for success for a Notre Dame win is here?
I think they have to attack. I think they have to get to Will Howard. I think they really need to get to him.
Yeah, I think it's if you slow that offense down, you do that by getting to Will Howard. He could be rattled. He could be just like we've seen him have these horrible games. We saw what happened against Michigan.
Listen,
so
they need to call.
He's looked really, really good some games, but he's looked horrible some other games. So he can be gotten to.
If I was Marcus Freeman right now, and Marcus Freeman is a much smarter man than I am in the sense of football knowledge. If I was him, I would stare down that Michigan game, and I would take down lots and lots and lots of notes on how to stop that offense, how to break through that defense, and keep in mind, Marcus Freeman is 39 years old now. I think he just turned 39. If not, he's still 38, but I'm pretty sure he just turned 39 this month. This guy played at Ohio State. He knows that franchise well. He played there for 4 years. I remember playing college football, NCAA, as a college student and playing with Marcus Freeman as my linebacker at some point. He needs to step in there and really analyze Michigan. Granted, this is not the same Ohio State team. That Michigan game, I don't know if it was a standalone, but it did expose some weaknesses. I think this team is very well coached. I think talking about coaching, I was going to go there next. I think Ryan Day is an incredible coach, and I think he really wants this championship. This is really going to solidify himself as one of the great coaches in college football right now. I think he has a lot of experience in big games, and that is going to give him a slight advantage over Freeman. However, that being said, Freeman, I talk a lot of shit about the Northern Illinois game, but that takes a hell of a coach to motivate his players to win every game and to get to the national championship after losing to Northern Illinois. That takes a lot of leadership, a lot of knowledge, a lot of know-how.
Didn't the Northern Illinois coach come call or say call him and tell him, hey,
Supposedly, like, hey, this is how I exposed you? Yeah, exactly.
yeah,
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know if that's true.
I don't know if that's true. The coach said it himself, but I don't know. I don't know if that's just cocky talk, trying to pat his own back.
Yeah. Listen,
and it never happened.
Shitting on the 38-year-old.
But if it did, good on them and good on Freeman for taking that advice and making those adjustments and running the table. But I still think it's Ohio State.
Listen, Ryan Day. I think Ryan Day here's on a mission. I think he needs to recover from that Michigan loss. He needs to keep his job. Somehow.
It's wild. Like you guys said it. They will have beaten all the top 4 teams.
Doesn't matter. They lost to Michigan.
Yeah, right? They beat Penn State in the regular season,
and they still couldn't beat Michigan. It's unreal.
I know.
It's unreal.
What a way! This would be the most undeniable national championship for Ohio State. Yeah. Out of all their
dominant
titles,
year.
Just a dominant year, except for the fact they just had to blow it.
They have all the players, all the stuff.
They just everything fucked it with Michigan, man. God, this would have been the greatest year in Ohio State football history.
Stu, in coaching wise, who do you give the edge to? Freeman or Day?
These coaching staffs are so elite. It's hard to pick a side here. I think Jim Knowles is better than Al Golden. I think Marcus Freeman is better than Ryan Day in game coaching. And I think I'll give the edge to Chip Kelly right now, what he's doing over Mike Denbrook, even though I think Mike Denbrook's probably a more qualified OC if I was taking someone in Miami next year. The pathway for success for Notre Dame, I think you guys hit it. I think it's Will Howard has to play like Drew Aller. Notre Dame's got to get him uncomfortable.
They got to attack him.
And they're very disciplined. They don't get a lot of penalties. I actually felt like if Ohio State was going to lose, it had to be last week. Will Howard had that one bad pick. They had 2 or 3 really bad penalties, Ohio State. They kind of let Texas hang around. They were playing with their food a little bit. And I felt like Texas was able to use the running backs out of the backfield a lot. I think Notre Dame does that well in the passing game. But I just felt like Ohio State had to lose last week. I don't know if Notre Dame can do that. They're basically like Texas. And Texas did that, and they fell on their face, fell on the sword right there. And now to think Ohio State's going to play bad again, I don't know.
That's what I'm saying.
I think Notre Dame is playing better than Texas. Texas, I think, was a more talented team.
I think Texas is a better team than Notre Dame.
They were the ones that could have beaten them. It was there. It was right there for the taking. I mean, it was really just just a bad play call. One bad.
They took Jeremiah Smith out of the game. Texas took him out of the game.
They did everything they had to do to win that game.
Is that going to happen?
Except for a stupid toss play on the 2-yard line. So, but and I think Notre Dame has been playing better. They're similar teams. Notre Dame's been playing better, but I think Texas was the more talented team. And so, like we said, maybe if they play the perfect game, and we said, they get to Howard, and they can't get that Ohio State offense going. Then now we're in a situation where Notre Dame, I guess, could win. I think they can make it a game.
They
got to make this the uglier the game, the better for Notre Dame. I want to throw you guys a low scoring game here.
Go for it, Stu.
So, Notre Dame with Brian Kelly, they could win these big bowl games. Every time they were down at half, it would just get worse. They get their teeth kicked in. Marcus Freeman, we got to give this guy a ton of credit. They were down 10 to Penn State. That game was like a boat rocking at sea. It was 10-0 Penn State, then 17 unanswered by Notre Dame, then 14 unanswered by Penn State, and then 10 unanswered by Notre Dame to win it. My point is they went down 10 at half, and Marcus Freeman had all the answers, and he had that team juiced up, and they went down the field and scored the first series, 80 yards. This guy can make changes at halftime. Do you guys think, because Ohio State's such a heavy favorite in the Vegas, preseason favorites, pre-playoff favorites, do you think it could actually work against him if Notre Dame's able to hang around and maybe flip some momentum in the third quarter? Because then you're in the David Goliath story, and Notre Dame has a lot of character on this team. That's one thing, resilience, we can talk about.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about power versus resilience over here. I think Notre Dame is a scrappy little team, but this is a team that's been in the lead, I think, 11 games this season. They haven't been down that much. They've been down 3 games. I don't know if they're that tested. You know what I'm saying? Like, yes, they are resilient. Yes, they are scrappy. Are they? Dude, that game? I to be fair, I'm guilty of saying when I was watching that game, they saw they went 10. They were down 10-0. Riley Leonard went out with an injury. I was like, oh, Notre Dame's done. You put a fork in them. Penn State's got this all the way through. Pissed me off that they won and they rallied anyways. But I was excited because I did have the over on the points. Don't forget that. I did have the over on points. So I was excited that the game was closer than I thought. But that being said, Ohio State is not Penn State. Ohio State is, if they're up, they're going to stay up. They are going to drill them down their throat. I think you talked a little bit about the path of Notre Dame. I think getting to Will Howard is very important. Also, Notre Dame relies heavy on their defense turnovers, right? They're scoring a lot on turnover possessions and stuff. Ohio State's not a big turnover team. They're not throwing picks. Howard's not a gunslinger that Cam Ward was and throwing these wild passes that doesn't have, like, that they're just out there smoking, cruising through the air. He's very, very efficient. Ohio State's very efficiently coached. That offensive scheme doesn't lend itself to lots of turnovers. Notre Dame's not going to be able to get the ball that way. So I don't know if we talked about how when they beat Georgia, they played an incredible, perfect game. It was set up for them. I said that the only way they beat Penn State was they have a similar game, perfect, everything goes their way. Kind of happened to them on defense, right? Like they had that perfect little round on defense where they're like, hey, we're going to stick it down. We're going to get those turnovers. We saw it again against Penn State. There were turnovers. They capitalized on them. Are they going to do it 3 games in a row against an Ohio State team that doesn't allow that much, that doesn't allow for that many opportunities to turn over the ball? I don't think so, man. I don't think so. I don't think they have it. You could go ahead and give your opinion on it.
I think you nailed it. I mean, what else? I don't know how much else we can say about. I don't know how many more times I can say it. This is Ohio State's game, dude. Like, there's nothing Notre Dame can do about it. In my opinion.
What's your score prediction?
The thing is that I'm not sure if it's going to be. Something tells me that this might end up being like, this is going to be a typical Notre Dame fashion, and they're just going to get like curb stomped, like they do every time they make it to the national championship recently. So fuck it, let's go with that. I'm gonna go.
I love the score prediction.
38-7.
Oh my god, dude! You have
That's what they did in Indiana.
Yeah, dude.
Just a curve.
How about you, Stu? What's your score prediction?
38-10. I'll give them 10. 38-10. They scored a garbage time.
I have it 30-17 Ohio State.
30-17. I have 27-17 Ohio State. That's why I'm like at that 9.5 line for the spread. I have 27-17 Ohio State. I just think, Notre Dame's been nice. It's been a fun little Cinderella story. I guess it's a Cinderella story for the playoffs. But I think Ohio State just has the depth, the star power, and the defense to make them the favorite here by a minute. I think they're going to dominate that first half and then kind of just ride the coast all the way through and get Ryan Day his first national championship here. But yeah, man, that's all I have for college football. Those are my predictions. Give me Ohio State. Give me that 8, let's say 7.5 spread.
Who do you think the country would rather see? It's Notre Dame,
Nobody.
right?
No. The country is so annoyed. It has to be annoyed by this game, but I would say Notre Dame.
I know we're annoyed as like Miami fans, and
I would say Notre Dame.
But like,
Ohio State's I truly hated.
I feel like Notre Dame.
Ohio State is the most expensive roster. They would like to see.
Yeah.
I feel like Notre Dame.
I will
say, Ohio State's like the evil empire, but like I feel like Notre Dame is like widely, like they're very popular. They're kind of like the Dallas Cowboys. Like random people love Notre Dame.
America's team.
Yeah, they're like America's college football team.
One thing that's true is Notre Dame wins regardless. I know it's gonna be tough on their fans if they lose this game, but Notre Dame is set to make $20 million off this playoff run, and they don't have to share a single dollar with anyone since they're not in a conference.
God
So
bless.
if a Notre Dame fan ever complains to me, I mean, it's gonna be hard for me not to bring this one up. I mean, they just
Think
legally
about
robbed
what they can
they
do.
legally
They just
robbed the college football.
Go buy yourself the Ohio State team next year, dude.
They have a $9 billion endowment, and they have 20 Brinks trucks on the way to South Bend right now to drop off $20 million. Ohio
Win or
State
lose. Win or
make-
lose, right?
makes $20 million, and then they share it 18 ways with the Big Ten. So they make $1 million. Notre Dame takes $20 million. You got 6 for making the playoffs, 4 for winning the first round, 4 for winning the next.
how do you
Jesus
not
Christ.
how do you not have the best roster
Next
I
year.
mean,
in
Next
college
year.
football? Like
they
you
just extended Marcus Freeman. I mean, rightfully so. 20
Back
they
and
just
trucks up.
paid for their coach for just 3 years.
I
4
think
years.
I think we're gonna see Marcus Freeman. I don't think he's gonna be an NFL type. I don't think he's gonna jump into the NFL for a long time. But I think we're gonna see this guy 20 something years in college football, man. I love his
I
coaching
think he's
style.
going to get NFL interest. I think.
Yeah?
He's gonna get NFL interest.
I think that there's already reports that there's. I think there somebody. I think
But he's
requested an
good.
interview.
He's a really good coach.
He's young. He's 38. But
He manages these games so well. I don't think the age matters. Actually, James Franklin took a shot at him for age in the press conference, and that blew up in James Franklin's face. Marcus Freeman got pissed. He told it to his team. He used it as a motivation for the
James
team. They
Franklin is such a
such a
clown,
clown,
Yeah, he
dude.
walked
He's a
in.
clown.
He set
He's
himself.
such a clown, man.
He tried to make a
Like,
joke about being bald, and Marcus Freeman has good hair, and it just didn't. It didn't. The delivery was awful.
I would
then
say
Marcus
I
Freeman-
hate betting on Notre Dame, and I was like, kind of hoping Penn State won going into that game, but then I was just like, dude, Frank, there's no way, Frank. This guy never wins against a top team, never. Like this, I'm lighting money on fire. Just suck it up, bet Notre Dame, take your money and go.
so stupid.
Sure enough,
I had so much faith in that game.
Sure enough, I just shut my mouth. I bet Notre Dame, collected my paycheck. James Franklin, take it to the bank. Top team every time. Guys, it's free money. It is free money. It's so ridiculous.
It's so bad. It's like
The
betting
thing
the
is-
BAM under. It's like betting the BAM under. It's just easy money.
You're 100% right, but
easy money.
I don't. I actually think this game was less James Franklin's fault and just totally.
It's I know I'm not saying it's his fault. It doesn't matter what it is. It
Totally
doesn't matter
Drew
whose fault it is. I'm
just
sure if you
follows
go
him.
back and you look
It just
at all
follows him.
17 or
I
8,
know,
like
I know.
however many losses he's had against these top 5, top 10 teams, like I'm sure a bunch of them aren't his fault. You know what I mean? Like I'm sure there's games where he had his quarterback throwing 4 picks. That's not your fault. You know what I mean? Like you can't do anything about that. But still, dude, every single time you play a bad team for the last 3 years, it's not even 4 years.
Not even a joke. It's a joke. It is a joke at this point.
It's every time. Come on, man.
I know, dude. I know. Listen, national championship game. This is what we're talking about all season. This is what everyone's been working for. College football playoff, first year of it, 12 teams. This is what it's all. This is all the marbles. This is for all the marbles. This isn't just a football game. This is a legacy game. Notre Dame trying to get their first championship in 37 years, something like that. Ohio State's last championship was in 2014. Wait, did they win in 2014? Yeah, right?
Yeah, with Urban Meyer.
It's 2014. So look, both teams are looking for that spot. They want to confirm who they are right now as a team. Try to get these big players with the NAL deals, with the transfer portal. This has never been more important than right now. Players want to go someplace where they could win right now, today, especially those older players. I think this has been a lot of fun, guys.
I got one more thing before we go, just because I know Chucky will be mad if we didn't bring it up. What do we think about the 2 uniforms going against each other? These are pretty classic uniforms.
Oh, they're the most boring uniforms. I honestly, it sucks.
I mean, I agree. I guess maybe some people say, "Oh, it'll be aesthetically pleasing to see the gold." And
I thought Penn State.
We're all just filled with so much hate.
I fucking hate it.
Like
You know what would have been nicer to see orange or green. It would have been nice to see orange and green there with any other color. But
I get it, Kevin. We don't want to see. I'm trying to put our bias aside for the sake of the podcast,
I hate Notre Dame's shiny helmets. I hate them. I hate those gold domes. I hate them so much. I don't know what to tell you. I just can't fucking stand them.
Stu, what's your take on it?
I think Ohio State has good uniforms. I think Notre Dame's are a little overrated. They're historic, but they're overrated. So I mean,
they're
Ohio State gets
plain.
the edge there
So
too.
plain, bro.
But
The only ones are cool when they wear the green.
I actually like that
green
Notre
ones.
Dame has the nameplates in the playoffs. I like that, so you can see the names,
that is
especially
cool.
to the casual fan who's watching this
Yeah.
game. You know, they want to see the names of the players.
Yeah, who
They
the hell
wanna
are we
learn
looking
who's
at?
good.
We don't know who this is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice for the casual fans.
And also from
Yeah,
Chucky's
for
plate,
sure.
just mention it. Chucky dropped two college basketball picks for us tomorrow.
yeah.
VCU -1.5. So hammer that.
It's St.
and then
Joseph, I'm assuming.
UCLA Iowa over 153. So,
Oh, that's a great pick. I like both those picks. Chucky Hoops coming in hot. I
I'll be
like
taking
it.
both of them.
Listen, guys, thank you guys so much for following. Listen, I'm going to put a poll down here below. Ohio State, Notre Dame. Let us know what you guys are thinking. We're big on Ohio State on this pod. I know there's some weirdos out there, especially weirdos that listen to this, that like Notre Dame. You guys are a bunch of weirdos. We can't respect you. But here we are. Put your opinion on the comments below. Make sure you guys follow, like, subscribe. Thank you guys so much. Make sure you guys cash those tickets. And
Danny
hopefully we make
Giannis
some
is
money.
going to be so mad about this entire podcast.
Screw him. Screw him. All right, guys. Have a good one. Thank you so much.
You've been listening to First Step.
We told you we don't take this too seriously, didn't we? I'd say we've proven that. Yes, we love sports, and we love sports betting. But we like the funner side, not the stuffy side. We hope you had a blast like we did. If so, make sure to like, rate, and review. We'll be back soon. But in the meantime, find us on Instagram and TikTok at First Step Bets.
See you next time on First Step.